The next great global struggle may not be fought over oil. It may be fought over copper, cobalt, lithium, graphite, manganese, and rare earth elements. These minerals are hidden inside electric vehicles, smartphones, electricity grids, wind turbines, satellites, data centers, and advanced military equipment. And a large part of the supply the world needs lies beneath African soil. From the copper and cobalt belt of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Zambia, to lithium deposits in Zimbabwe, graphite in Mozambique and Madagascar, bauxite in Guinea, and platinum group metals in South Africa, Africa has become central to a new global resource race. China wants to protect its powerful position in global mineral supply chains. The United States and Europe want alternative and more secure sources. Technology and energy companies want reliable supplies before demand grows even further. But Africa is asking a more important question. Will this new mineral race create factories, skilled jobs, technology, and lasting prosperity across the continent? Or will Africa once again export raw wealth and buy back expensive finished products? This is why the world is fighting for Africa's minerals. A mineral is described as critical when it is essential to the economy, technology, or national security, but its supply could easily be disrupted. Copper carries electricity through buildings, power lines, factories, vehicles, and communication systems. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, manganese, and graphite are important materials in many modern batteries. Rare earth elements are used in powerful magnets found in electric motors, wind turbines, electronics, aerospace systems, and defense technology. These minerals are not always extremely rare. They are considered critical because the world depends heavily on them, while their mining or processing may be concentrated in only a small number of countries. That concentration creates a serious vulnerability. A conflict, export restriction, political dispute, transport failure, or sudden policy change in one country could affect industries thousands of kilometers away. As the world builds more electricity networks, renewable energy systems, electric vehicles, battery storage facilities, and digital infrastructure, the strategic importance of these minerals continues to rise. This is where Africa enters the story. The continent possesses major deposits of several minerals needed by the modern global economy. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is the world's leading producer of cobalt, supplying roughly 3/4 of global mine production in recent estimates. It is also one of the world's most important copper-producing countries. Neighbouring Zambia is another major copper producer, and the mineral-rich zone shared by both countries is one of the most strategically important mining regions on Earth. Zimbabwe has become an important source of lithium. Mozambique and Madagascar possess major graphite resources. Guinea is one of the world's leading suppliers of bauxite, the mineral used to produce aluminium. South Africa has large resources of manganese, chromium, and platinum group metals. Namibia has uranium and growing interest in lithium and rare earth exploration. Other African countries are also discovering deposits that could become increasingly important. But controlling mineral deposits is not the same as controlling the mineral industry. Mining is only the first stage. After minerals are removed from the ground, they must be transported, concentrated, refined, and transformed into materials that manufacturers can use. Those materials are then turned into battery components, cables, magnets, electronics, machinery, and finished products. The greatest value is often created during these later stages, not at the mine. Africa may provide important raw materials, but much of the refining, processing, and manufacturing still takes place outside the continent. That is one of the central reasons the global competition has become so intense. China did not become powerful in critical minerals simply because it owns mines. It built processing plants, manufacturing centers, transport networks, technical expertise, and relationships across the entire supply chain. China is now the dominant refiner for many important energy minerals. This means that even minerals mined in Africa may be shipped elsewhere for processing before entering global factories. The United States and Europe increasingly view this concentration as an economic and national security risk. They do not simply want access to more mines, they want supply chains that are not controlled by a single dominant country. Europe has established targets to expand its own extraction, processing and recycling of strategic raw materials. It also wants to ensure that it does not depend excessively on one foreign supplier. The United States is also supporting new partnerships and transport routes intended to connect mineral-producing African countries with international markets. One of the most important examples is the Lobito Corridor. The corridor connects mineral-producing areas in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Zambia with Angola's Atlantic port of Lobito. Its planned railway, port, energy and trade investments could provide a faster western route for copper, cobalt and other products. Supporters say the corridor could improve regional trade, agriculture, electricity, digital connectivity and employment. But critics fear that it could become another system designed mainly to move raw minerals out of Africa. That difference is extremely important. A railway that transports only unprocessed minerals may increase exports. A development corridor that supports farms, factories, processing plants, businesses and cities could transform entire economies. Africa's leaders increasingly understand this. For decades, many African countries exported minerals in their raw or partly processed form and imported machinery, electronics, vehicles, and other expensive manufactured products. That pattern produced export revenue, but it did not always create enough skilled employment or industrial capacity. Africa's new strategy is to capture more value before its minerals leave the continent. The African Union's Green Minerals Strategy calls for local value addition, regional industrialization, job creation, and stronger African mineral value chains. In practical terms, this means that copper should support cable, electrical equipment, and manufacturing industries. Lithium, cobalt, manganese, and graphite could support battery material production. Bauxite could support aluminium processing. Platinum group metals could support specialized manufacturing and clean energy technologies. Instead of only exporting minerals, African countries want to refine them, manufacture with them, and develop technical expertise around them. However, this ambition faces major challenges. Mineral processing requires enormous and reliable supplies of electricity. Factories need good roads, railways, ports, water, finance, technical education, and predictable government policies. Companies need skilled engineers, geologists, technicians, chemists, and machine operators. Many projects also require billions of dollars in long-term investment. No African country may be able to build every stage of every mineral supply chain alone. Regional cooperation could therefore become essential. One country may provide the mineral. Another may provide affordable electricity. Another may have a port, processing facility, or manufacturing market. Through stronger regional trade, African countries could build connected industries instead of competing only to export raw materials. But the mineral rush also carries serious risks. Mining can damage land, pollute water, displace communities, and create dangerous working conditions when it is poorly regulated. Artisanal cobalt mining in parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo has attracted international concern over unsafe conditions and child labour. Communities living near mining projects may see enormous wealth leaving their land while receiving few jobs, weak public services, and limited compensation. Corruption can also prevent mineral revenue from improving the lives of ordinary citizens. These problems are not arguments against mining. They are warnings about how mining must be managed. Governments need transparent contracts, effective environmental rules, and strong systems for tracking public revenue. Companies must respect labour standards, protect communities, and explain where their minerals come from. Consumers and manufacturers increasingly want proof that the minerals inside batteries, electronics, and vehicles were produced responsibly. Traceability is becoming part of the competition. The world does not only want minerals, it increasingly wants minerals whose origin, environmental impact, and labour conditions can be verified. There is another risk Africa must consider. Demand for a particular mineral can change. New battery technologies may use less cobalt. Recycling could reduce demand for newly mined materials. New deposits may be discovered in other regions. Prices can rise sharply and then fall. An African economy that depends almost entirely on one mineral remains vulnerable, regardless of how valuable that mineral appears today. Mineral revenue must therefore be used to build diversified economies. The real prize is not merely selling more rocks, it is using mineral wealth to finance reliable electricity, education, infrastructure, manufacturing, research, and competitive businesses. So, who will win the new global mineral race? China currently holds a powerful advantage because it controls much of the world's refining and processing capacity. The United States and Europe are investing in alternative supply chains and strategic partnerships. International companies are searching for secure deposits and reliable transport routes. African governments are trying to use their mineral resources as leverage for better agreements. But the final winner may not be the country that extracts the largest quantity of minerals. It may be the country or region that controls the processing, technology, finance, transport, and manufacturing surrounding them. A mine can generate export income. A complete mineral value chain can create engineers, laboratories, suppliers, factories, research institutions, transport companies, and thousands of skilled jobs. Africa possesses something the world urgently needs. That gives the continent significant bargaining power. But bargaining power only matters when it is used effectively. African countries must negotiate transparently, protect local communities, cooperate across borders, and insist on agreements that support local processing, skills, and industrial development. The global competition for Africa's minerals is not simply a struggle over what lies beneath the ground. It is a struggle over the technologies, industries, and energy systems that will shape the 21st century. China wants to protect its industrial advantage. The United States and Europe want more secure and diversified supplies. Technology companies want reliable materials for the products of the future. And Africa wants to turn underground wealth into development above ground. The world will continue using Africa's minerals. The real question is whether Africa will remain mainly a supplier of raw materials, or become a processor, manufacturer, and technological power in its own right. The answer will determine whether this mineral age repeats the mistakes of the past or creates a more prosperous future. Subscribe to Insightful Stories TV for more documentaries exploring Africa's history, business, and global importance.